Like, for example, the Buddha, he would take and withdraw 3 months out of the year during the rainy season from his very, very busy life of teaching, preaching, healing, wondering. Every day, he would take time out to meditate 3 times a day. So the question was asked, what are you doing? Just to think about it. What am I doing in the area of withdrawal and return? And I offered the metaphor of Rumi, who said, we human beings are like fish out of water, thrashing and quivering on the banks. And from time to time, we need desperately to dive into those oceans of silence to become renewed, refreshed, healed, empowered. Just for a few seconds, ask yourself, in my life, during the course of the day, course of the week, course of the month, am I doing withdrawal and return? Like Shabbat, like 5 obligatory prayers of the Muslims. Okay, so that was one thought. The other thought was really understanding the majesty, the beauty, the power of silence and practicing it. In silence, you're able to connect with the real you, your divine spark. In silence, in a group, even in a group of people who are outside your tribe, you might say, in silence, you connect with them. I've repeated this same story many times of this Catholic young lady who was very eager to connect with people from other traditions. So she would come to these interfaith summits. We have them every year. People from different traditions, clerics, lay people getting together, mingling. And she confessed that, she tried very hard, but she could not feel a kinship with people of other traditions. She tried. But then when there was this program of the entire group going into deep silence, quietness, for at least 10, 15 minutes, if I remember. And then she came and told me, that was the time, in that period of group silence, she really felt a bonding with everybody else in silence. So, spiritual companionship, it has many definitions, many meanings. It's a road less traveled, meaning we have to come up with our own understanding, our own creation, using our own creativity. What is spiritual companionship? It's a place where we do spiritual practices with one another. We share, we are vulnerable. We talk about our anguish, our pain with the other. We maybe do things together, go to movies, go on walks together, spiritual companionships. But also it seems that it's critical that spiritual companions, they begin to connect with the other outside your tribe. So we always do that. If I'm going to meet, even individually, somebody who is different and I feel awkward, even if it could be even adversarial, the best thing is, before you start talking or doing, just enter a period of what? Of silence. And I hope you remember by now, by heart, that all those wonderful definitions of silence. I love to quote Rumi, who says, silence is not the absence of sound, it is the absence of the little self. Silence is the language of God. Everything else is a poor translation. So he goes on to say, therefore, please be silent so that the Lord who gave you language may speak. For as he fashioned a door and a lock, she also made a key. So, to deepen spiritual companionship within myself, within my own group circle of love, and also with others who are different, it is critical to practice, as I'm repeating myself again and again, silence. So, my question to you now is just for you to ponder on, what kind of silence are you practicing? And I want to go through the different, there's so many different kinds of silence, of meditation. And you've got to choose one or two or three, create your own that really suits you, resonates. You can change, you can experiment, you can explore, you can make a hybrid of the different techniques you know. But the key is practice it, practice silence. It could not only heal your life, it could totally transform your life and deepen that relationship with yourself and with others. So let's just go quickly through the different kinds of meditation. One is a simple one, but a very powerful one. You might just call it under the umbrella of breath meditation. Being with the breath. We do it all the time. I say close your eyes, focus on your nostril, and be present with your breath as you inhale and as you exhale. Simple, it can be very powerful. The Buddha said, for me, that's my major technique of meditation for an entire lifetime. But you see, you can vary it. You can play with it. Like you can say, if you want to really connect with the breath and you feel that I'm not able to connect with my breath, you can silently within say, as you inhale, breathing in, you say silently. As you exhale, you can say breathing out. Or you can say and invoke all the vibrations and energies. As you inhale, you can silently say love and imagine and intend, aspire to bring in from the cosmos all the vibrations of love as you inhale, as you say silently, love. And as you exhale, you might say peace, peace, and get a sense of peace radiating from you. I'm just giving you some examples just to interest you in some kinds of a kind of meditation that resonates for you, that splashes in your heart, as we always say. Some Sufis will simply be with the breath and they'll remind themselves, Allah is the breath within the breath. I can just focus on my breath, or I can really focus on my breath, because spirit, divinity is the breath within my breath. You go much deeper. Okay, so that was one kind. Let me just tell you another kind. Mantra meditation. You can choose a mantra, a word or sentence that resonates for you. If I'm a Buddhist, or if you're not a Buddhist, you can choose that. Om Mane Padme Hum, Om Mane Padme Hum, Om Mane Padme Hum. Or as some Hindus do, So Hum, So Hum. For Gandhi, it was Rama, 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 Rama. It's the name of a god. Also, it means abiding joy. So throughout his life, he practiced that mantra in his wakeful hours. When he was waiting, he was standing in line or sitting in a chair before his meeting started. He was awake, but he would silently within him say Rama, 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 Rama. In his meditative time, he would say Rama, 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 Rama. So much so, as you have heard me say many times, when he was assassinated at close range and he lay on the floor dying, his lips were muttering. And what was his lips saying? Rama, 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 Rama. I love that story of the Bedouin who goes to the Prophet Muhammad and says, "Oh, Muhammad, peace be upon you. The legislation of the faith has become too complicated for me. Just give me one simple technique, a spiritual technique." And the Prophet Muhammad said, "Of course, you can do this for the rest of your life." He said, "What?" And the Prophet Muhammad said, "Keep your tongue moistened with the name of Allah. Allah, 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 Allah." Okay, for now, and now, again, I want to uh, impress on you, if you're doing a workshop and people say, "But why would that work?" Just repeating a mantra. So I want you to remember, because you're all teachers, what you would reply, among many other things. One is, if you remember, in India, festivals are very popular, and in festivals, they always include elephants. The problem with elephants, if you remember, the trunks are always swaying back and forth, lashing at spectators, sometimes overturning those flimsy carts that have food on them. And so, almost as a joke, they went to these gurus in the mountains to ask, "Is there a way we can overcome this nonsensical, continuous lashing of the trunk of the elephant?" And to the utter surprise, the gurus said, "Yes. What do we do? Place a stick. Place a stick of any size in the trunk of the elephant. See what happens." And lo and behold, they put the stick, it curled it, and this became less and less and less and less and less and less and less. They said, "How did you know?" They said, "Well, that's the equivalent of a mantra you place within yourself. That's the stick. You focus on it. You repeat it again and again and again and again and again. Then that swaying of the rattle of the cage of monkeys. It's a famous verse from Hinduism. The rattle of the cage of monkeys. This thought, this worry, this image, that image, as it floods in, it becomes less and less and less and less and less and less and less. So there's power in having a mantra. You become present, you become centered. But there is more. The other metaphor, which I love very much, which I just mentioned the other day, the vat or the pot of dye, D-Y-E, color. Take a cloth, dip it in the vat of color, take it out. It has a beautiful color. But what happens? It fades away with time. What happens if you dip that cloth in that vat of dye, D-Y-E, again and 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 again? There comes a time it becomes color fast, permanent. So by me repeating a mantra again and again and again and again, and particularly if it's a mantra that resonates, besides making me centered, present, it colors me. That is why I choose a mantra that really resonates. In the Quran, there's a verse, "Who has a better dye, D-Y-E, than God?" Repeat that again and again, and you become colored with that sacred divine vibration. Okay, just a few more. I'm looking at the time and looking at the notes here. Heart meditation. Anything to do with the heart. I love the technique of just closing your eyes, focusing on the heart, reminding myself of that beautiful revelation where God says, "Beloved one, I cannot be contained in the space of the earth. I cannot be contained in the space of the heavens, but I can be contained in the space of the pure, loving heart." So I realize divinity is outside of me and inside of me in my heart. So what is my meditation? I close my eyes, I focus on my heart, and I tell my heart, "I love you. I love you so much." And I do it unabashedly. I'm not shy about it. I really love you. If that doesn't feel right, try something else. Or the other one, again with the heart, put your hand on the heart, feel your heart, divine heart is inside human heart, and connect with the heartbeat, the rhythm of the heart. God is also the heartbeat within the heartbeat. And just be with that. And there are many other techniques of meditation. A simple one, which I do all the time in my wakeful hours, also in my meditative hours or moments. I focus on my heart, and two things I do. I focus on my heart and I tell myself, I open myself to receiving the radiance, the love, the beauty of the universe. Just a sense of opening up and receiving the blessings. And the other one, which we have asked you to practice in class also, is to focus on the heart and just send out unabashedly light and love from the heart. It really works, I can tell you, with inner certainty. Not only in meditation, but just walk around, just keep on sending light and love to everything, a tree, a dog, a person, just sending out light and love through intention. In the beginning, you may not feel anything, but then you begin palpably to feel really something flowing through you. And some have told me, but am I not giving away that radiance? But here's the universal truth in every religion, that the more love and light you pour out, the more love and light you pour out, the more love and light you become filled up with. It's a law, ancient and inexhaustible. Okay, maybe just one or two more. I'll just mention them. There's, of course, guided meditation. We just did a guided meditation on meeting your divine higher self. I often use the guided meditation of going in the sacred sanctuary, meeting your inner circle of love, and just basking in the love they have for you. Next week, we'll be doing something very profound, going deep. But we'll talk about a little bit today. Uh, into your sacred sanctuary, maybe meet your inner circle of love, and then there you summon anybody you want to talk to them, to express. It could be your joy, it could be your pain, it could be your anger, it could be your anguish in that guided meditation. There is the chakra meditation. Chakra means wheel, wheel-like opening. Maybe you do the chakra meditation. I do it every day, focusing on each of the chakras. And then from each chakra, I send out light and love. From the base of the spine, area of my reproductive organs, just above my navel, my heart, my throat, my third eye, the crown of the head, just sending out light and love. And you can do many variations of chakra meditation. Okay, I've said enough. And now just kind of, we don't have to talk, just ponder on, and you can even write it down, what techniques of meditation am I doing, or I would like to do, or create a hybrid to explore, experiment, and see how it resonates for me. Could be breath, could be mantra, could be heart, could be guided, could be chakra. And I've even talked about some exotic meditations like gateways. But the important point is, which ones resonate for you? Which ones are you doing? So I'll be quiet, just think about that. Okay, and the request is do this regularly. And the way it works is that if you say that I'll do this practice of silence when I have time, it rarely works. It does not work. But if you tell yourself, okay, I can really only spare 10 minutes in the entire day, be realistic during this time. Make sure you do assign that 10 minutes of silence and just do that practice as often as possible. Another insight that the great teachers tell us, if you can, do it in a particular place. Could be in your bedroom or some other room, because then the place becomes infused with very beautiful vibrations if you're doing meditation there regularly. And you'll find that if you just go and sit there after you've done it for days and weeks and months, it'll be much easier to go into a state of meditation. Okay, I'm very eager to talk to you about something very significant, in my opinion. You've heard it before, expression resolution. Creating a relationship with someone, not always who's difficult, but quite often who is difficult in your life, but maybe somebody you cannot avoid. It could be your boss, a colleague at work, someone in your family. You really feel you want that kinship, but some difficult feelings come up: anger, frustration, sadness. So, in the mystical traditions, they say, and let's take a concrete example, your colleague at work or your boss at work, you have difficulties. Well, you can say many things in the level of reality, but you have to be careful. You might lose your job, etc., etc. But there's so many things, feelings you have that you cannot express because it has consequences. But now you can do the same conversation, when I say same, with the same person in the imaginal world, in your sacred sanctuary. But there, the soul of the other person is present and encourages you to say and express and articulate whatever is in your heart. And the only consequences are it is going to be healing, empowering. And amazing things can happen because souls love the truth. And there's certain steps and processes that go with it. And I just wanted to tell you that I've done this for decades in my life with people who are disagreeable, in my opinion, or adversarial. And I know that when I have done expression resolution in the sacred sanctuary, expressing my feelings to them and going through several processes, and there that person's soul wants to be truthful in expressing what is my feeling. And when the process is finished, amazingly, it is as if when I meet that person in real life, it is as if somebody has already spoken to that person. And there's a shift, always positive. And who knows what happens? Maybe, as as the great masters say, when I change, my world changes. Maybe my vibration has changed, and that's created the change in the other. Okay, so now what I'd like you to do, a writing exercise. First, choose someone with whom you'd like to do expression resolution in the imaginal world. Choose someone. Okay. So now it's not a meditation. I'd like you to start writing down. Um, so just imagine I'm asking you to go into your sacred sanctuary. That's the first step. I'll ask you to be in the sacred sanctuary. I'll say the sacred sanctuary is a place of absolute safety, place of love and beauty, infinite possibilities. Then I'll tell you that just be still here. You're absolutely safe. If you like, you can bring in your circle of love. But now you have the power to summon this person. And you can greet this person however you want to. This is your sanctuary. But remember one thing, not only is the person there, the person's soul is here. And souls love the truth. But step number one, and I just want you to be conscious of this now, as you meet this person, what feelings come up in you? Just become aware. What feelings are coming up in me? Every feeling is a sacred vibration. If it has an edge, it's only because it is separated from me. So write it down. What feeling is coming up in me? Become aware. And I want to repeat again, all feelings are sacred. If it has an edge, it's only because it is separated from me, begging to be, as Carl Jung would say, begging to be kissed. So what feelings come up in me? Am I aware? And I repeat to you, that person's soul tells you, whatever you feel is perfect as long as it is the truth of what you're feeling. And if you remember sacred holding, where in your body are you feeling those sensations? And just be present with that. Be present with those sensations, whether it's anger, hate, sadness, frustration, bewilderment, anguish. Where do you where do you feel those sensations in your body? And just be present with that. Okay, the next step is, remember this person's soul is here, and this person's soul tells you, please express the truth of whatever it is you're feeling. Don't hold anything back. Souls love the truth. This is not only healing for this person, it's healing for you. So now write down, what is it you want to say to this person? Feelingly, honestly, sincerely, fully, as much as is humanly possible. And I repeat to you, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're expressing is perfect, because it is the truth of what is within your mind and heart. So express it, write it down. What is it you're going to say? Give yourself some time and to articulate honestly, sincerely, humbly, fully, as much as is humanly possible, without overdoing it. What is it you want to say to express your feeling? Okay, after you've expressed that as much as is possible, then you're being told that in this sacred sanctuary, in the presence of the soul of this person, in the presence of the universe, what is your sacred prayer? What is it you want vis-a-vis this person? Maybe you don't know. So you can always add a sentence at the end of your prayer. This or whatever is in my highest interest is manifesting for me now. This or whatever is in my highest interest is manifesting for me now. What is it? What is your sacred prayer? Can you articulate that? And since sometimes what we desire, what we pray for, is not in our highest interest, unknown to us, is wonderful to add that sentence. This or whatever is in my highest interest is manifesting for me now. But articulate your sacred prayer. Okay, after you've done that, the second part of it is look at this person, and the person's soul is there, and from your heart, acknowledge that this person has been or is a part of your life. You see, everything is part of a larger, more mysterious story. From the heart, the words are key. From the heart to acknowledge this person has been or is a part of your life, is part of a larger, more mysterious story. You're not saying this was great, you're not accepting it, you're not approving it. You're simply acknowledging the truth of whatever has happened. It has happened. And this person is in your life or has been in your life. From my heart, I acknowledge that. Everything being part of a larger, more mysterious story. So that's called sacred acknowledgement from the heart, without any judgment. At this point, from my heart, I acknowledge. Okay, the next part is to allow for a ritual to evolve. If this was very unpleasant, find, know that this is a magical place. You have magical powers. If there are some cords that tie this person to you that are unhealthy, that are burdensome, that are strangling you have the power to remove, untie, cut those cords, release those cords. This is your sanctuary. You have magical powers here. Maybe your circle of love helps you. But if there's something that needs to be removed, if you want to cut some cords, remember whatever you release releases you. And do it unabashedly. Some people get scared. I want some cords to remain. Well, your subconscious takes care of it. But sincerely, if you want to, remove, cut, release those cords in magical ways. Remembering whatever you release releases you. And just as you have the power to cut those cords, you have the power only if it's indicated, only if you want to establish fresh cords, only if you want to. Heart to heart, rooted in spirit, fresh cords, only if you want to. You can establish fresh cords, rooted in spirit, infused with divine light, whatever your belief system is, heart to heart. I'm talking about pure heart to pure heart, soul to soul. whatever your terminology is, but rooted in spirit. So what would you do with this person? Cut some cords and just let it be, or also establish fresh cords? Is totally up to you. And the last step is just be there, pondering, being in the presence of this person whose soul is also here. That is something I need to remind myself and you again and again. That person's soul is also here, and souls love the truth. So just spend some time there, and then this person's soul asks your permission for you to release them. And you do. And as you release them, you sense, you see them fading from your vision, going back into the embrace of spirit. And when this is done, you know, it's important to really do some work of being in silence, being basking in the love of the circle of love they have for you, loving yourself, thanking yourself for doing this work, spending some time with yourself. So just be very still for a few moments. Just being very silent. My friends, we shall deepen this in the next session, next class. I'll actually ask you to maybe relive this, but with eyes closed and taking the sacred sanctuary. So before we take a break, I just wanted to say just one more thing. I'll be quick because you know this already, but I want to remind you again. What we did just now was dealing with someone in the imaginal world, and it has a lot of power. Believe me. Uh, when I do it, I just sometimes get shocked at how it impacts the visible world, because this is work in the invisible world. But also, just to refresh your memory, as spiritual companions, we want to do the work of connecting with somebody, maybe after we do expression resolution, but in the real world. And we have called that in the past, I just love that expression, meeting with somebody who's adversarial, to share 3 cups of tea. If you remember that. What's the first cup of tea? Listen. And what is listening? Like Rumi says, put your head metaphorically on the person's chest and just sink into the answer. Jamal, can you listen? Please listen. And really listen, be present. And just again, those insights I love to say. An enemy is someone whose story I have not really listened to. Maybe. And I really must listen to everybody's voice. I might not like it. Noam Chomsky from MIT, he says, Jamal, if you don't listen to those you despise, if you don't listen to those you despise, you don't really believe in freedom of speech. That's so true. Okay, that's listening. I said the first cup of tea is listen. The second cup of tea is respect. I don't like the person's behavior, but I must make a discernment, a differentiation between behavior and being. The person's behavior might be unacceptable, but the person's being is divine spark, Christ nature, Buddha nature, Elohim nature. And let me remind you again what Kabir said, the wonderful mystic from India, Kabir, who says, in dealing with somebody adversarial, protect yourself. Don't allow yourself to be abused. Take the right action. But as you take the right action, I beg you, I beg you, I beg you, please do not keep this person's essence, being, divine spark out of your heart. Just this differentiation, discernment between behavior and the being, the essence of the person. As I take the right action, that's just keeping the discernment in my mind and heart has the power to shift heaven and earth. Please remember that. Very easy to forget. Okay, third one. After that, we'll take a break. Listen, respect, connect. If it's an argument over theology or politics or culture, it's okay, but start with something more beautiful. It's actually more essential to connect on a human level. To connect on a human level. Sharing stories, our sadness, our joys, our aspirations, our children, our priorities. Sharing a human story, because if we connect, if we can truly connect on a human level, we know from experience, we know from history, it becomes very difficult to dehumanize the other or demonize the other. And as a wonderful philosopher said, this universe is made out of stories, not atoms. Now I'm talking about people you can actually connect with. If you feel those people are not someone I want to connect with, whatever it is, don't do that. Don't strain yourself painfully. But you can always remember sharing the 3 cups of tea with the other, with those who you feel you want to have a connection. Okay, my friends, I've said a lot of things, and let's take a short break.